The date is November 19th, 2007. The developers of Crash Bandicoot and Jak and Daxter were set to release a new IP which nobody saw coming, but it changed the gaming industry forever. This game was called Uncharted: Drake's Fortune. People play games in many different forms. Some people like to casually play a game just to relax and have some fun. Some people like to complete every single thing the game has to offer, whether it's difficulties, collectibles or trophies. These people are called completionists. But then there's another type of way to play games. To challenge yourself to beat the game as fast as possible by any means necessary. These people are called speedrunners. Along with speedrunners, there's also glitch hunters. These people push their games to the absolute limit in order to break and find ways to skip sections of the game to speed up and beat the game faster. Today, we're going to be talking about the glitches in Uncharted: Drake's Fortune, whether they're useful for the speedrun or just very interesting to watch. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. If you take low cover on a wall and shimmy from left to right in a specific rhythm, you can actually clip through walls. This was one of the first major techniques used in the speedrun, but now it is no longer used. You can also shimmy out of cover without clipping through any walls, but that is also not very useful. In chapter 1, if you do a shimmy clip off of the side of the boat, you can actually float underwater and look around without dying. In chapter 2, if you come over to this corner and roll onto the tree stump, you can actually climb up and push the rock without having to climb all the way around. One of the major techniques used in the speedrun to this day is called aim clipping. If you approach a wall with your left shoulder against the wall and hold left on the left stick and spam aim in a specific rhythm, you can actually clip through walls. At the start of chapter 5, if you jump towards this vine and then attempt to jump away from it on the first few frames you grab it, you can actually launch super high into the air. This is actually useful for the PS3 speedrun because you don't go as high. At the start of chapter 3, if you come over to the submarine, you can actually aim clip through an invisible wall and hit a checkpoint that extends just outside the submarine. This allows you to skip inside the submarine, which skips climbing all the way around.
Okay, I'm in.
Right at the end of chapter 3, instead of walking into the cutscene to start chapter 4, you can come over to this wall and aim clip through it. You can then jump out of bounds and actually land inside the start of chapter 4. This, however, is not useful as you cannot progress, but it's still cool to show off nonetheless. If you enable the super slow motion tweak and then hold forward and spam aim, you will enter an airwalk state. Remember to keep holding forward on the left stick or you will fall. You can actually use this airwalk to also walk through collision, which is very cool. You will need to beat the game on the normal difficulty to unlock the super slow motion tweak. You can actually walk underwater. If you find a location where you can stand up in the water and then keep blind firing, as long as you don't fall or interrupt the animation, you'll be able to run around underwater. You can do this at the start of chapter 13. When you climb up onto a ledge, if you press blind fire at the right time while climbing up, you can actually clip through. Right at the start of chapter 18, if you come over to this gate and aim clip through it, and then jump to the ladder, you can actually skip to the start of chapter 20, which skips 2 full chapters. If you manage to find a sloped surface where Nate will fall when you aim, you can actually launch yourself into the air. All you need to do is roll, and then as soon as the roll animation is about to finish, just press aim or inspect and circle at the same time. If done correctly, Nate will get launched. It's pretty precise, but it looks cool if pulled off. In the final chapter, if you clip through this wall, you can actually find a gun floating in the air. This gun is actually climbable. If you climb up onto the corner of a ledge and then press Blindfire and circle at a specific time, you can actually cause Nate to launch around the ledge. If you manage to find a location where you can hang off a ledge and then unload the area, we can actually do something called a ledge warp, where we warp to a completely different location. Here, we warp to the start of chapter 4 from chapter 8. At the end of chapter 3, if you leave at least one enemy alive at the bottom of the stairs, and then proceed up the stairs, there will be 3 enemies left. Make sure you kill the last enemy by blind firing, and then continuously blind fire into the cutscene to start chapter 4. If done correctly, you will retain sprinting speed from the previous chapter. This saves a significant amount of time in the speedrun.
That's great. Great start, Nate.
If we manage to trigger the airwalk glitch while stepping up onto a ledge, we can actually completely hardlock Nate into the airwalk state. But in this state, we can actually turn and change the direction that Nate walks in. Using the sky launch, we can actually skip all the way to chapter 20 from chapter 13. This saves an enormous amount of time in a speedrun, but it is the hardest skip in the entire game. If you aim out of low cover and then let go of aim and attempt to vault over the cover, you can actually clip inside of whatever you were taking cover on. At the end of chapter 6, right before you trigger the final cutscene that leads into the next chapter, if you come over to this wall and aim clip through and jump, you can land over on this roof. From there, if you make your way down to the gate where the Jeep would usually drive through in the next chapter, you can actually clip through the gate and walk along the path the Jeep would usually take, which you're never meant to be able to do. It's really cool to just look around and explore. If you take cover on certain corners, you can actually aim and then quickly unaim and aim again, and Nate will slightly go inside of the wall. If you time it right, you can actually get out of the cover while you're inside of the wall, allowing you to clip through. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Nate's being a bit shy at the moment and he won't come out of his shell, so I'm really sorry about that. I also stream on Twitch, so follow me on there. I hope you all have a fantastic day.